So today we're gonna do something that I've never done before, and I'm doing a bedtime routine video. So let me be honest, like when I've seen those really cute bedtime routine videos by girls that don't have kids, they seem so peaceful, so relaxing, and I have to be honest that bedtime routine for me is often really stressful because I'm a single parent. I have two little ones, a girl and a boy, and bedtime is just crazy sometimes, most times. And so today, because I'm all about being honest, keeping it real over here, I thought I would share the good and the bad about my bedtime routine and just be really honest with you guys, because I'm sure so many of you can relate to my struggles, and they might be some of your struggles too. So let's jump into this. Let's start with the good part first about my routine. One thing that I've kind of made a commitment with doing as a single parent is I try to not do that many chores, if any, when the kids are asleep. I don't like clean the house when the kids are to bed. The only chore I usually do on a regular basis is like doing laundry, not folding laundry. I always wait to do that during the day, but doing laundry because I live in a triplex and we kind of have like a routine of certain days that we can do laundry. So I have to pack that all in on certain days. But other than that, no chores, because when the kids are asleep, that's mama's time to relax. The next thing that I do that I feel like has been really helpful for me as a single parent is putting my kids to bed early. And even when it's sunny out, like they usually go to bed between 7 and 8:30ish, like between that time. If I can get them in bed by 7:15, 7:30, like it's awesome. And having that as like a regular routine has been so good for the kids to have consistency. It helps them be less worn out, less naughty, and it's just been like a huge blessing to me because that increases the amount of time that I get by myself. And the kids don't necessarily fall asleep that early, like they don't fall asleep at 7:30, but they're in their beds and we're kind of done for the day at that point. So usually before the kids go to sleep, we have a little routine of, a lot of times they take baths at night, brush teeth, do all that. And then something that has been so important to me is reading with the kids. Either we've done like little Bible story books, but we finished those Bible story books, and now I've just been reading one verse with them a night. I have a Bible app on my phone that I really love. I've been using it for a long time now, and lately I've been more consistently using it like every day. I will show you guys a little picture of that app if you want to go download it. But I just read a verse with them, and then I ask them, like, do you know what that means? And we talk about it a little bit, and I'll explain it and try to put it on kid terms. But I think it's so good for kids to consistently hear God's truth and just read a scripture verse. Like, I think the Bible storybooks are great, but it's always just stories. And so I think it's been great for us to change it up a little bit and actually just read a verse, like reading God's scripture and being able to explain it to them and try to apply it to them, to their lives. And I mean, this is super short. Like, I don't want you guys all to think, wow, she does a theological session with her children at night. No, I do not. It's very short, probably a few minutes, couple minutes at the most. We just pray together, and that's it for our time together in the Word. And then every night, Emma wouldn't have it any other way because she loves this, they listen to stories at night. And I'm going to have Emma come on and talk about some of her favorites, because I think a lot of you mamas, this will help you guys out. This little Emma is going to share with you guys what her favorite stories are. What are these? What are they all called?
Keys for Kids, Retro, Kids Corner, and Paws and Tales, and Little Stories for Tiny People.
Yep, and I'll link these all down below so you can check them out if you want. So which one is your favorite that you listen to?
Paws and Tales.
What do you like? And that's this one right here. What do you like about Paws and Tales?
Because they talk about Jesus, and there's kids in it.
You gotta be in the camera. Come here, baby. So come here. Sit down and say it. Sit down and say it.
Hootie!
Okay. Okay, so what do you like about Paws and Tales, bud?
I already told you.
I know, but you had to say it again. What do you like about Paws and Tales?
That they talk about Jesus.
And it's fun stories, right? With different characters and different voices and stuff. Does it help you go to sleep at night? Yeah.
And little stories for tiny people.
You like that one?
I like that one too.
And so, yep, we love listening to stories. This has changed up our bedtime routine a lot in a better way, helping Emma and Cole to have something to listen to. We're not going to do that right now. No, because it's got to be short. So can you say bye-bye?
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Hope you guys have a nice day.
To finish off the good part of my bedtime routine, I want to just share what I do when the kids are in bed. So there's a couple things. I'm not a type of person that's like every night I do this and then I do this and then I do this. Like I'm not a super routine person, but most nights I shower at night because for me, like that's my chance to be able to actually have an uninterrupted, hopefully, shower. And I blow dry my hair at night and then just sleep on it and style it the next day. So that helps a lot. And then it cuts down on my morning routine because I like to sleep. I want to sleep in as long as I possibly can. Something else that sometimes I do at night is spend time with God, like especially if I didn't do it in the morning. And again, when I talk about me spending time with God, like it's usually short. Like I will take my Bible and I'm reading right now through the book of Luke, and I'll just read like a few verses, like 2 or 3 verses. A lot of times also I will do the app that I just told you about where I read a verse and then there's a devotional too that I just click on that's in that same app, and I'll read that and pray. And I've had to accept the fact that like my time with God is going to look so different than when it was before I had kids. Like before I had kids, I would like sit in the morning for like 30 minutes and spend time with God, but it's just not the same once you have kids. Like life is crazy and busy, and like just making the commitment to do that regularly to me is more important than like, oh, I have to sit down, I have to spend this much time and it has to be absolutely quiet and blah, blah, blah. Like I just want to make sure like I'm getting in the Word regularly and hearing God's truth, and it makes a big difference like in my day and how I interpret the events of my day. Another thing that I love to do is just scroll on Instagram, like check those things out, or I will watch a show. Another thing that I've been doing at night, now again, I don't do this every night, but I don't know, I think I shared this on Instagram, but I've been taking guitar lessons since last fall, and so I will practice guitar a lot of times at night. And it's just like a relaxing thing for me to do. Like even though sometimes I get frustrated because I'm trying to learn new chords and stuff like that, it's still peaceful for me because I'm getting to the point where I can play some songs, so I can have like a little worship session with myself. But it's, yeah, music is like so good for the soul. So I feel like if any of you mamas don't have a hobby or something that you like look forward to do that you're like working on, for me that is like social media and guitar. Like those 2 things have been really helpful for me. And when I had my first child, my daughter Emma, I didn't have any hobbies, and I feel like if I had picked up a hobby sooner, it would have helped me become more of like a happy mama. And I just think that's like so huge for any mom. Like you've got to have something that you love doing in your own time. We talked about all the great and wonderful things about my bedtime routine. Now let's get in the bad, the ugly, the rough things. So like I said, bedtime is often stressful, and let me tell you the number one reason why it's stressful, because my kids, after I put them to bed, it's like 3 or 4 times they're like, I'm hungry, I'm scared, I'm hot, will you grab my stuffed animal that fell on the ground? Like, yeah, it's not always easy, and I realized that this is something I need to work on, is being better at being consistent with like when you're in bed, and you need to stay in bed for the night, or else there will be consequences, there will be punishments. There's been like so many times where I've said to my kids, you're driving me crazy, and I'm like, I don't want that to be a regular thing I say to my kids, because I want them to know that I love them and I care about them, and being firm and consistent with them is going to be harder at first, but in the long run, it will pay off more for my sanity and being more patient with them. So that is a rough thing that I struggle with that I'm still working on. Another thing that I had this moment of realizing the other day when I was like deciding, should I floss my teeth or not? Because that's like an every night, like, should I do this or not? Because I hate doing it. And growing up, like my family, my parents were super consistent with like, you do this every single night, like floss your teeth, brush your teeth. This sounds silly that I'm talking about this, but I'm getting to a point with it. But then when I like was on my own, I'm like, I don't have to floss my teeth. I can do whatever I want to do at bedtime. But now I'm like realizing like, I gotta take care of myself. Something I struggle with is consistency and being like I told you, I'm not a super routine person. And so I'll like start a routine with something and then I will like, it'll die off and I'll just be like, nah, I'm not doing this anymore. And I realize that consistency is like a mark of maturity. I want to be more consistent in things. I don't want to just be like, well, it's just not my personality to be like really rigid and have a routine, because I think that's a cop-out, you know? And yeah, I want to become more consistent, even if it's like little things like trying to floss my teeth every night, even if I'm tired, to just do it because I don't want to have cavities. I don't want no needles in my gums and all that jazz. The last thing that's like the bad part that I came up with, I'm sure there's other things like I don't do great, but this is the last one that I wanted to share with you guys, is not wasting my time at night. So I know I shared with you guys a little bit how like Instagram, I kind of took a break from Instagram and I've been working hard at not letting social media dominate my life. And it's a continual struggle for me because I'm alone all the time. And at night I'm alone, you know, as a single parent. And it's so easy to make that my go-to, my run-to. And, you know, there was like phases where I would like at night, you know, the kids were in bed and I didn't have anything else that I had to do. So I'd just sit on Instagram for like 2 hours, 2.5, like, and time would just like fly, you know. And maybe even sometimes 3 hours, like that's so terrible to admit. And I realized like, and then if I was like throughout the day, like posting stories and things like that, like that's just not, that's not good to have. And so I want to be better at not wasting time. And, you know, when it's late at night, this is the other thing that I will do sometimes, like Googling certain like, I don't know why, but I like had to keep up with what Justine Bieber's up to. And I'll be like, let's see what's going on with him and Haley. And I'll be like reading, you know, things like that. And another thing I have to admit of things I've wasted my time on the internet at night is I watched like probably 20 minutes of the girl, I forgot what her name is, but she like swims with sharks regularly. And she's like a shark conservationist person. I don't know what her name is or what her title is exactly, but I like watched this whole video of her that she had like filmed in Hawaii on like how to interact with sharks correctly. So I learned that if you like push them away with your hand and like you show them that you're dominant, that actually, I guess, works sometimes to like prevent them from eating you. But anyways, why do I need to know these things? So that is my bad side of my nighttime routine. So I want to know like, what is something that you love about your nighttime routine and what is something that you like is not good and like you're working on changing, and maybe it's one of the things I mentioned. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week and I will talk to y'all soon. Okay, bye.